Today, I want to show you how you can properly use a trekking poles to walk the Camino. When used correctly, trekking poles can reduce the risk of knee pain, back pain, and ankle pain, especially going downhill. Even when you walk on flat road, they can help you to reduce fatigue and go faster. So today I'm going to show you some techniques, and with a little bit of practice, after you have learned, the trekking poles are going to become your best companions. But before we talk about the technical aspects, I like to talk about the etiquette of using the trekking poles on the Camino. First is the noise of the trekking poles. There's nothing more annoying than hearing the repetitive sound of the metallic tip hitting the asphalt or the stones. So what you should do is to use a cap like that and put it to cover the tip so that your trekking poles will make less noise when you walk with them. And even with the tip covered, it's still not enough because the trekking pole is still making a lot of noise. So when you walk next to someone, be careful not to hit the ground too strongly, and mostly when you walk into a town, maybe not to use them or use them very lightly because some people may be having the siesta in the afternoon. So walk quietly and maybe not use your trekking poles. Now the second good practice is that you shouldn't bring your trekking poles inside the dormitory when you arrive at the albergue. Leave them outside because they might be dirty, and even if they are not dirty, they can bother other people because dormitory might be very small. And the third thing is, when you are doing the visit, for example, when you go to a church, leave your trekking poles outside. Don't bring them inside the church. Okay, that being said, now let's dive into the technical aspects. I'm going to give you some tips on how you can adjust the length of the poles very quickly. Hold your poles and stand straight. The right length is when your arm and your forearm make a 90-degree angle. This is the length for walking on the flat road. We are going to mark it on the poles once for all. Take a paintbrush and paint a small line on the trekking pole. After that, paint another line 5 cm below and paint another one 5 cm above. Do it on both and wait until the paint is dry. Now you can adjust your poles very quickly. Use the line in the middle when you are walking on the flat road. Use the line on the top when you are going downhill. And use the line on the bottom when you are going uphill. Now, it only takes me 10 seconds to adjust the length of both trekking poles. The poles are ready. I'm going to show you how to use them. The technique is slightly different whether you are walking on flat road, uphill or downhill. First, walking on the flat road. Adjust the length of the trekking poles using the middle line that you have marked before. This is the neutral length. Put your hand through the strap from the bottom and hold it like this. You can hold it a very relaxed way. There's no need to use any strength. When you move forward, slightly push the trekking pole backward using the handle and the strap together. And be careful not to plant your poles too far away. You should never plant them beyond your front foot. Next, walking uphill. If you are facing a serious uphill, adjust the trekking pole shorter using the lower mark. Put your hand through the strap and hold the handle more strongly. And as you are going up, push down with the trekking poles. The steeper the slope, the more vertical you should hold your poles. I often use a mental trick to reduce the fatigue. I tell my arms, hey, you guys need to work harder. You don't want to let the legs do all the job. Last, walking downhill. This is when the trekking poles are the most useful. Make the trekking pole longer by using the first mark. Put your hand through the loop from the bottom as usual. Now hold the top of the handle using the palm of your hand. The reason you hold it this way is because you want to shift your weight from your leg to the poles as you're going lower. Here is an example of how I go downhill with a minimum of impact on my knees and my back. I plant both trekking poles in front of me and then I shift the weight to the poles, and once I feel that my weight has moved forward, then I step down slowly. I try to land as softly as possible by pushing hard on both of my arms as if my legs have no strength at all. Once you get used to use the trekking poles, you will become a pilgrim with 4 legs. You will be able to walk longer with less fatigue. And to finish, in case you are wondering how to choose a good pair of trekking poles, here is my advice. There are 3 types of trekking poles depending on the locking mechanism. The first type are those you can adjust the length by twisting them. I don't like them very much because when your hands are frozen, it's difficult to perform the operation. The second type are those who have locks on them. They're easier to use and you can perform the operation even wearing gloves. The last type are those you can disassemble and they have internal wire that holds them together. Those are my favorites because they are shorter and they can go more easily inside the bag. I like the top of the handle to be large and round because it's more comfortable to hold on downhill. So this pair is also good, but these are not so good. And a very important factor to consider when you choose your trekking poles is, of course, the weight of the poles itself. A pair of trekking poles can weigh between 350 grams to 600 grams. So you want to choose them as light as possible because sometimes you don't use them and you are going to put them in your backpack and then they are going to add to the weight. I still recommend you to use them, mostly if you have problems with your knees or your back. If you have some questions, please leave them below and please subscribe to my channels because there are many other videos helping you to prepare your Camino. Thank you and buen Camino!